Today I'm going to share with you how to play the Koshi Chimes. So these are really great instruments for using for sound meditation, for sound therapy sessions. There are 4 different types of tunings of the chimes. They come in elements of fire, earth, air, and water. The air and the water chimes are tuned to minor scales. So this is important to know because minor scales have a different effect on emotion on the listener. Minor scales feel a little darker, a little more like sadness or introspection or pensiveness. It's not a negative thing. It's actually very helpful to listen to minor scales because it helps us to access emotions that may be more difficult, that maybe we push away. When people listen to the Koshi chimes, especially the minor scales, it can bring up feelings, maybe feelings that are difficult, images, memories. So the minor scales are very useful in helping people connect to emotions, especially maybe grief or sadness. The other 2 Koshi chimes are tuned to major scales. So it's the fire element and the earth element are major scales. Major scales tend to sound more uplifting or happy, joyful, or lighter. So if you're wanting to create a mood of lightness or uplifting, then you want to use the major. So sometimes you may want to start with minor and then end your experience with a major scale. So some ideas of how to play these. You don't want to play with continuous sound, with just constantly moving them around. That is fine, but you can create more mood and more feeling if you use phrasing and make sure you leave a lot of space in between the sounds, pausing, let there be a little bit of silence. So when you play, you could play around in a circle and hit all the notes going around and leaving a pause. If you're playing near someone, especially in person or very close, you want to be careful about not playing too loudly. That's always a good rule for playing instruments in sound therapy. So going around, you can use 2 chimes at once. The minor scales match each other very nicely. And doing circles around and then pausing. Allowing some space between the sounds. You can really hear the resonance and the overtones. After you stop playing, they still resonate in the space. So another way is to just get one note at a time, and you can do that by just moving side to side. It allows there to be a little more space, and you can target certain notes in the chime. Allowing the sound to move with the movement. And so allowing that also to then just come to silence. You can do that with 2 chimes at once, just targeting certain notes in the scale. It brings texture and different feeling in playing them instead of sounding all the notes at once. Thank you for listening. You can find my sound meditations and sound healing videos and recordings on my Patreon page, and the link is below.